Hey guys and gals, hope you're doing well and welcome back to the Hollywood Rip studio for episode 23 of the Cardboard Critics Sports Card podcast, home of the hot card, the cold card, and the invest card of the week. Thanks for joining us. As always, I'm Mr. Hollywood. That's Joe Nasty. To my right, a couple World Series heroes in our top cards this week, a gimmick in our bottom cards, and some potential hoops cards with some investment potential going forward, all on this week's show. Remember, disclaimer.
Yes.
The views expressed in this show are solely our opinions, do not constitute investment advice. Please consult a professional advisor for any investment decisions. But let's start things off with hot cards of the week. And of course, number one is none other than Freddie Freeman, first baseman for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Let's take a look at his 2011 Topps rookie card in a PSA 10 because it is up 89.4% over the past week to $135.
Past week, like past 2 days.
per card. This was a $70 card like 4 days ago. 3 days ago. Of course, we all know that Freddie Freeman hit the first ever walk-off grand slam in World Series history.
What?
The Dodgers are in the World Series?
Excuse me?
Oh wait, are the Mets out?
Take that off. Yeah, I've got some bad info.
Freddie Freeman has homered in 4 straight World Series games now, dating back to 2021 when he was on the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
And hear me out on this one. If the Dodgers are able to win this World Series and Freddie Freeman gets the World Series MVP, I think that cements Freddie Freeman's case for the Hall of Fame. That is my opinion. I think Freddie Freeman cards have always been undervalued. We have one right here. This is a Freddie Freeman Dynasty game used Dodger patch, numbered, I believe, serial numbered 1 out of 10. Of course, signed by Freddie. Here, I know you haven't seen it, so you'll see it as it comes around now.
Do you mind? Yeah.
Yeah. That card right there, a Freddie Freeman.
Oh, cool.
A Freddie Freeman patch autograph numbered to 10. How much do you think that should cost?
That one, I'd say it should cost $700.
Yeah, I paid $111 for that.
Oh, I'm also a big idiot, so.
That card was $111. Okay, I think he has been very undervalued in the hobby and just overall a great guy. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, Mr. Personable.
Just a very good, just a good dude. What do you think about Freddie Freeman? What do you think about his cards? What do you think about what he's doing in the World Series right now? What do you think of his Hall of Fame case? Freddie Freeman, buy, sell, hold. To me, I'm probably not buying now. Again, I'm buying in the offseason primarily when it comes to baseball. But I like Freddie Freeman because I think he's undervalued. What are your thoughts?
I'm a huge Freddie Freeman fan. That's way too many Fs. I think he's a fantastic Freeman fan. And he is consistency personified. He truly plays every single day unless there's just no way he's able to go out there, as we've seen with the ankle, especially in the NLCS against the Mets.
Yeah.
It's interesting because when they signed him, remember who went out the door at the same time? Also another player that wore number 5. And it sucks.
That was a tough pill to swallow.
That was a tough pill to swallow, especially when he won another World Series MVP himself.
Yeah.
But Corey Seager did get hurt again this year.
Yes,
And what they did is replace one smooth swinging lefty swinger with another one who also plays every single day.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about that. In terms of his Hall of Fame case, I think that's just a crazy take. No. He's he at the moment, as we sit here, he's the front runner for World Series MVP. 2 home runs, the moment of the series. He's been just very good. So if you were, the only reason to get in as we speak right now on a Freeman card is because by this time next week, he very well may have won World Series MVP, and then the value will bump up a bit more. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, but the question is it going to bump up is it going to bump up 15 to 20%? Because if you're buying it now, you got to pay fees to sell it on eBay, say 13%.
Maybe if he hits another like game-winning hit or something, right?
Maybe, yeah, but it's unlikely.
It's very unlikely.
It's unlikely.
Considering what he did in Game 1 had never happened before.
So look, I'm not buying a Freddie Freeman card now because I think it's a good potential investment. I'm buying a Freddie Freeman card right now because I now kind of, or maybe you now kind of realize how undervalued Freddie Freeman is, and you're just you're a fan, you know. You want a piece of the history. I mean, I bought all the Freddie Freeman Topps Now cards. I didn't buy this one, but. Let's move to hot card number 2 for the week, and it's Freddie Freeman's teammate, Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Epic.
Starting pitcher, of course, were the Los Angeles Dodgers. His 2024 Topps Home Field Advantage card in a PSA 10. We talked about this the week before the playoffs started. The Topps Home Field Advantage card is basically the downtown version of a Topps baseball card. But it is up 81.8% over the postseason. It's $120 for that card. Remember, when we talked about this a month ago, it was a $65 card when we had it in our Invest Now ? Segment the week before the playoffs. And I believe, and I quote, we said, what's the worst case scenario on this card? The worst case scenario on this card at $65 was that he gets shelled in the playoffs, which he kind of did at the beginning.
His first start, for sure.
But is that he gets shelled in the playoffs, the Dodgers are out of the playoffs, and maybe it's a $45 card with another, 9 years to go on a 25-year-old's contract who has probably the best pinpoint control of any 25-year-old to ever enter the league. Yeah, I didn't think the downside was all that low, and I thought the upside was very high if he had a big postseason. And what has he done? He has allowed 3 earned runs over his past 3 starts, and they have been very high leverage starts for the most part, including wins with their backs against the wall against San Diego, a big win against New York, and of course, his most recent accolade just the other night, a one-hitter over 6 1/3 innings in Game 2 of the World Series against the Yankees. Look, there's a reason he was given $325 million, the richest pitcher contract in history without ever having thrown a pitch in the United States.
Right.
When Yamamoto locates and keeps you honest with that 95, 96, 97 mile an hour fastball, when he's locating that fastball, he is nearly impossible to sit on because his breaking stuff is devastating. And it breaks in virtually every direction. The slider is going to break to the left, obviously. The splitter, he's able to throw the splitter vertically. He's also able to throw the splitter in on righties.
Like how he struck out Judge.
It's kind of like a mix between like a splitter and like a...
It's like a changeup.
Yeah, it's like a changeup almost. Of course, he does have a yo-yo 12-6 curveball as well. When Yamamoto's on,
it's fun.
The talent is immense, and it's really fun to watch because he doesn't strike a lot of guys out. It's just so hard to square this guy up when he is locating his fastball. This is a $120 card now. Am I buying it now? No, I'm not. Why? Because I told you to buy it a month ago, okay? That being said, Yamamoto cards, look for them to come down to earth in the offseason, and if you believe in Yamamoto, it might be time to pick something up. What do you think about Yoshi so far?
I said it in that segment. He's good, right? Like, there's a reason other teams, including the Yankees, were willing to give him also $300 million. Like, it wasn't just the Dodgers being like,
no.
Well, we have Ohtani, and we've got this Japanese thing going on.
There was 4 teams willing to give him 300 plus.
Ken Rosenthal said it on the broadcast yesterday. Cashman was sitting with Yamamoto in December, and it was sunny, and he was like, well, we're screwed. That's basically the deal here. Also, they weren't willing to give another pitcher more than Garrett Cole.
Right.
And it bit them in the butt last night. You're right. He's not striking out a lot of guys right now in the major leagues here in America. But we're forgetting that he missed 3 months.
Yeah.
And when the last start, or the second to last start before, so the last start before he got pulled mid-game against the Royals, he struck out 7 Yankees, something like that.
Yep.
And to that point, and I wish I remember who told the story, so I'm not going to credit this correctly, but whatever. Someone told the story about how in Japan, it's actually embarrassing to strike out. Like here in the U.S., I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think pitching's just insane, but more guys are willing to swing for the fences.
Yeah.
Whereas in Japan, like, your approach is get the ball in play. It's not cool if you're striking out a lot.
Right.
And he was striking guys out in that league. So if you're going in there with the stuff to take out, they say that the NPB is basically like AAA, or maybe like in between AAA and MLB.
MLB, yeah.
It's like quadruple A. So those are pros.
So it's AA.
Yeah, fair. But if you're striking those guys out with that approach, the stuff is there. So the stuff is nasty. We saw it right before the injury. He's starting to get more healthy, and he's rounding into form at the perfect time. And we saw it all come right back. Go figure. Against the Yankees again. Retired, the last 10 or 11 guys he faced before getting taken out.
Yeah.
Excellent start. And he's listed at 5'10". No chance.
Yeah, I don't think he's 5'10".
There's no
I don't
chance.
think he's 5'10". Maybe
He's a cutie, but he's not 5'10".
Maybe if he like really quaffs his hair up, he's 5'10".
He has the softest. Like, I don't know if he's necessarily metrosexual, but he definitely cares.
Yeah, he cares.
He definitely cares.
He cares.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
That's a hard hitting analysis that people wanted.
Would you buy it at 120?
I would.
You would buy it at 120.
I think.
Okay. He would buy it at 120. This, by the way, the Radiating Rookies card, we got ours back from PSA. Got a 10, which is awesome. This is another card that is doing very, very well. But let's move now to our cold card segment of the week. And let's start kind of like with a hole in general. We talked about it last week because this was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. But how about all oversized downtown cards from those Costco-sized Donruss bundle boxes? These things are down like 75 to 80% since the release. It's insane. Jaden Daniels, that massive downtown, was like $250 at release. The price of the box is $57. Today, that Jaden Daniels gigantic rookie downtown is $65. Guess what? That's the price of the box at Costco with tax. Okay?
Before you get too huge peanut butters.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we put the chart on your screen. Like, just look at the fall off.
Ouch.
Of this Jaden Daniels oversized card. It's the most coveted card in the set. Honestly, I'm not even going to call it a card at this point. I'm just going to say this is the most coveted poster of the set.
Yeah.
And deservedly so, because these things are stupid. Like a total gimmick. Downtown's, in my eyes, dead. This has cheapened it to an all-time level of cheap. If I'm gonna relate this to any other product that's come out recently, it's probably under wraps. It's UW Emanate. I don't know if you remember Emanate, but that came out and is basically giant pictures of players that were autographed. So it's basically the same as this. It's like a giant card, right? Except these ones aren't autographed and Emanate was. And guess what happened with Emanate? It did horrible. So this is a dumb idea. Always was, always will be. I really hope scalpers are getting caught holding the bag on this one, buying out all of Costco stock. But this is, look, it's another lesson learned. The hobby does have boundaries.
It does.
And we have found our boundary with something stupid like this. What are your thoughts on oversized downtowns?
Yeah, they're terrible. Oh, sorry. You can continue.
Go ahead.
No, but they are. Like, it's nice to see. We talk about it all the time, right? Like, the market speaks. I didn't like it last week. You pulled out the equivalent and threw it over my shoulder, which was a little rude.
It's there.
Oh, it's right here. We found it. Good.
That's actually smaller.
It is, because it was a Jeter one last week, right?
Yeah, but that's Judge. But the new downtowns are bigger than that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's not a poster, but it's not a card, so it's a pard.
It's a
coaster. It's not a coaster. It could be a coaster.
It's a postcard.
Ha, nice.
It's literally a postcard, is what it is.
Is the Jaden Daniels one this one in front?
Yeah.
So here's what I noticed, and we can put it up on the screen again, or maybe not.
Yeah.
So it's him, the Capitol, and the Washington Monument with the reflection pool. You notice how the Capitol is reflecting in the pool, but the person and the image that's in front of it is not reflecting back itself?
It's the little things.
It's the devil's in the details of that one.
The devil's in the details, or the devil is like in all of the details of this thing, because it's wow.
Hey, let's do the reflecting pool, but it's not actually going to reflect. It's not going to reflect everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if the sun's coming from a certain angle, right?
Totally.
Let's move to our second cold card of the week, and this one's probably not a shocker, but this could turn around pretty quick. We'll see.
Yeah, you never know.
But it's Aaron Judge, center fielder for the New York Yankees. His 2017 Topps Chrome rookie card in a PSA 10 is down 11.7% over the past week, aka 3 days, to $143 per card. This was a $170 plus card a week ago. This was a $240 card in August when Judge was chasing that fabled 60 mark for the second time in 3 years. So look, a $240 card in August, it is now just a $140 card. What has Judge done in the postseason? This is why the card is going down. Well, he has hit to the tune of a 150 average, 6 for 40. 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, and get this, 19 strikeouts in 40 plate appearances. That is good for an OBP of 280 and an OPS of 605. The strikeout numbers are ludicrous. His OPS is half of his regular season OPS. This dude had an OPS of like 1.2 something
Yeah,
in the regular season. Like the closest thing we've ever seen to Barry Bonds since Barry Bonds. He is chasing off speed and the slider out of the zone like crazy. And on top of that, he's letting fastballs go like right down the middle. So what's going on with Aaron Judge is he's totally fishing up there at this point. In my opinion, Aaron Judge should know who he is. He should be stepping into that batter's box and needs to look fastball, and he should be spitting on anything else that is not a fastball. For the Yankees' sake. Like, honestly, the Yankees don't need Aaron Judge to just go up and hit home runs necessarily. That's not the point. The Yankees just need Aaron Judge to get on base. They need him to not strike out. If he's going to get out with runners on, he needs to find a way to make it a productive out. He needs to put the ball in play. He needs to advance runners. He needs to work walks. And the first step, in my opinion, is he needs to spit on the breaking ball, sit dead red fastball, and when you get it, you swing for it. I think this is, normally I would say this is a prime buy low opportunity for someone.
Yeah.
But Aaron Judge is kind of up already this season with kind of what happened in the regular season. And as we've seen this season and the season where he hit 60 plus a couple years ago, people in the hobby just don't like Aaron Judge. Like, they just don't. Like, I don't know why, but Aaron Judge cards, yeah, sure, they spike by like 25, 30, 40%, depending on what craziness he does during the year sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But this isn't like when Ohtani does something crazy, or this isn't like when Ellie De La Cruz does something, or when, Bobby Witt Jr. does something and stuff spikes by 200% or 300%, right?
Yeah.
So in my opinion, look, Aaron Judge just had two of the 3 best offensive seasons I've ever seen of the, 2 of the 3 probably best offensive seasons of the last 15 years.
Yeah.
And yet his cards are still not really where they should be. This Aaron Judge RPA, this is a rookie patch autograph, numbered to 25 of Aaron Judge. True Gem Mint. That has subgrades of a 10, a 9.5, a 9.5, and a 9.5. I sold that card today for $1,800. An RPA numbered to 10 for $1,800. That is crazy.
For the season he's had?
That is crazy. So I'm not buying Aaron Judge because I just don't think there's a big enough market for him. I don't think people like him enough. I don't think he's personable enough to drive market prices higher. What do you think about Aaron Judge?
To your point, do you know, I'm just looking at his last 5 games.
Yeah.
And everyone's bagging on him, but I'll keep doing it. Do you know how... So the last 3 games of the Cleveland series, which was a 5-game series, and then obviously the first 2 games of the World Series, do you know how many walks he's drawn?
2.
1.
Dang it.
and none in the last 3 games. In that time, he has struck out 1 walk to 13 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's...
He is 1 for 9 in the World Series. He is 1 for 13 going back to Game 5 of the ALCS.
Yeah.
His swing looks a little loopy to me. They showed it on the broadcast. He's behind fastballs, and he's getting under breaking balls. We were there, and even though the angle of where we were sitting in Game 1 was not fantastic.
It wasn't fantastic because prices for a good angle were like a kidney. Or both your kidneys.
And you don't want mine. But Flaherty threw him a hanging slider in the first inning of Game 1 when the Yankees were threatening. One of their many threats of Game 1. And he popped it up.
Yeah.
And the fact that I know it's a righty-righty situation in Game 1 to get through Soto to get to Judge. But if you're intentionally walking someone to get to Aaron Judge, that's pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what Dave Roberts did. And he hit a pop-up that was so high, I can't believe they caught it, but they got the result.
It went above the stadium.
It legit went above
above the stadium.
But they got what they needed, right?
Yeah.
So that, it doesn't matter. He's having a terrible start to the series and the playoffs. But something struck me like a bolt of lightning really quick. To your point of, no one cares about Aaron Judge, I just realized it. I know he had a big home run off of Clase, I think in Game 3 of the LCS. But what he's done is put up these numbers, and he just puts up numbers. He truly doesn't have any special moments. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Ohtani puts up numbers, and they're just like, oh my God, he got to 50-50 in one game, and he went 6 for 6, and he could have had a cycle. Mm-hmm. He got his 40th home run on a walk-off grand slam. Theme of the season, I guess. Yeah. Ohtani has moments. Mm-hmm. It's have you heard about this guy? He hits a 120-mile-per-hour home run.
Yeah, it's like they're
Judge
scripted.
Just mashes. Yeah.
It's like they're scripted. Yeah, Judge just mashes, not saying that the games aren't as important for Judge, but yeah, he just kind of goes about it a little more methodically. It's not as dramatic when it happens. To put it simply,
I just don't, and it's weird to say for a guy who's 6'7", in New York, the captain of the New York Yankees, but he's got no aura, as the kids say. Yeah. There's nothing sexy about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but does that make sense?
No,
I'm sure I'm wrong, but he doesn't have a moment.
It does, but I'll tell you this.
It takes one game after we said all this.
Yeah, it takes one game for Aaron Judge to have a moment, and that moment could very well come tonight. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
These could be very famous last words.
Yeah, game 3 of the World Series in New York, in the Bronx tonight. Watch Aaron Judge go 3 for 4 with 2 homers, a grand slam, and it's going to be crazy. But we got to move now to our last segment of the show, and of course that's our Invest ? Segment, and we're going to start this week's segment off with Franz Wagner, Orlando Magic small forward, his 2021 Prism Silver rookie card and a PSA 10. Down 33.3% over the NBA offseason. It is a $100 card. Franz Wagner, not to be confused with his older brother Moritz Wagner, who is also on the Orlando Magic, is a 6'10", 23-year-old out of Michigan, just like his older brother, right. And he is off to a torrid start this year. Franz, this card, by the way, had a high of $170 to $200 at one point last year. This was like a $200 card at one point. It's now $100. He has improved notably every year since he's been in the league. What has he done through a few games this year? He's averaging 25 points, 5.7 rebounds, 4 assists on 52.9% shooting from the field, including 45% from downtown. He has a young burgeoning core with him in Orlando in Paolo Banchero, Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter Jr. Orlando finished last season 47-25. That was good for the 5th seed, I believe, in the East. So they're continuing to improve. And a lot of people, when they think Orlando Magic, they think Paolo Banchero.
Definitely.
But let me tell you, Franz Wagner I don't want to say he's flying under the radar, but for $100, I think he's kind of flying under the radar. And I think some people could be rewarded at $100 if Franz Wagner and the Magic continue to improve this year. They've looked pretty decent to start the year. What do you think about Franz Wagner as a potential investment candidate at $100 going forward, considering this card did hit $200 last year?
So this is a kid that was drafted 8th overall in his draft. So the team saw something, right? And generally, like the NBA does, like it's weird for MLB. If you're drafted that high, more times than not, I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have a career. I know you have your cases where that's not the case.
Yeah.
The NBA though, you could be a bust. Like there's more than enough lottery picks to show that.
Well, a lot of busts in baseball too.
Yeah, of course. The sport's barely been around, but I don't know. I am always kind of a fan of these Euro players, and like he and his brother had similar paths coming out of Berlin, going to Michigan, playing under John Beilein, who was an excellent college coach before he retired suddenly. Actually, I think he went to the Cavs first before retiring. I like the mindset of the Euro players. I like they grow up playing soccer. They have the footwork. We saw it firsthand with Pau Gasol. The way they see the game is a little bit different. It just still feels a little out of nowhere. But the thing I like the most is that even though he was the 8th overall pick, he's still not really the guy. Well, he's not at all. But he can be good. But Banchero is going to get all that attention.
Right.
Suggs is going to get a lot of attention. Franz can continue to improve as he is, and he may be the key between the Magic being a 5 seed and maybe being someone that, maybe gets a top 3 seed. Like I don't think they're better than the Celtics, obviously, but they are currently 3rd after 3 games. Yeah. But there's something percolating in Orlando, and it's not the swamp water. It's something could be happening down there. A lot of it obviously depends on Banchero. I can't say that enough, and that's not breaking news.
No.
But for a guy who's going to be a 2nd to 3rd fiddle, not the worst option.
No, not the worst option.
And he gets to play with his brother. I think that's really cute.
Yeah, I think Franz. I think Franz is a good pickup at 100. Honestly, we've literally already seen this card go to 200 in the last year.
Right.
This team should not be any worse than it was last year.
Probably not.
And Franz is getting better still. He's still just 23?
He is 23.
Yeah, he's. I have no problems with someone buying this card at $100. But let's move to our next invest card of the week, and this one I'm a little more on the fence about. And I'll explain to you why. But we're talking now about Lamelo Ball. Point guard for the Charlotte Hornets, of course. I almost said Bobcats.
Now, those were the days.
Those were
Do you remember why they were called the Bobcats? Sorry, this is an aside.
No idea.
Because the owner who sold to Michael Jordan and created that franchise, I believe his name was Robert. And so they were Bob's Cats.
Oh, my gosh.
I'll double check on that. But
yeah, double check that. Because Lamelo Ball's 2020...
Because...
Transitions.
Yeah.
2020 Prism Silver rookie card of Lamelo Ball in a PSA 10. That card has been up 23.3% over the same time span as that Franz Wagner card we were talking about. So while Franz Wagner is down 33.3% over the offseason, Lamelo was up 23.3% to $370 for that card today. The previous high for that card was around $450. So this card is really only, it's crazy. This card's $80 off of its high. What has LaMelo Ball done in the first few games of the season? Well, he's been an absolute beast. He is averaging 31.7 points per game, 7 rebounds, 7.3 assists on 46.8% shooting, including 41.7% from downtown. He has been incredible through the first few games of the season, but they are still losing. Charlotte finished last year 21-61. That is atrocious.
That's bad.
They allowed 116.8 points a game. Yes, it's true. Lamelo Ball suffered a season-ending right ankle fracture and had subsequent surgery last year. So he only played in 22 games last year, averaging 23.9, 5, and 8. So far this season, all of those averages are, for the most part, way, way up. But here's my thing with Lamelo Ball. I think stats-wise, the kid's going to fill it up like crazy and be an absolute superstar on paper. If he averages like 38 and 8, that is insane.
Yeah.
Right? But what do you also need to drive value in the modern day sports card market? You need to win.
Yeah, success.
Eventually, right?
Yeah.
Eventually you need to win. And I just don't know that Charlotte, of all teams, is set up to do that right now or make a playoff run, even with him back in the lineup. We'll see. So for me, I'm not buying Melo because his cards, this one in particular, we're talking just $70 off of highs, off of the high. Whereas Wagner, $100 card, sure, LaMelo is the better player, but Wagner's going to have more team success, right?
I think so.
And he is at 50% of highs, whereas LaMelo at a $370 price tag when the high is $450, and you have no idea how good the Hornets are going to be this year. I'm not buying Melo right now.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Even with LaMelo, they still ended up with getting the number 2 overall pick a couple years ago to get that, you could say, hot shooter, Brandon Miller out of Alabama. Really quickly. It is speculated that, yes, the original owner of the Bobcats was named Robert Johnson. It's speculated that the name was partially an homage for his name, but also to partner with the Panthers, who are also in Charlotte. Anyways, LaMelo, the eye test right now is insane.
Yeah,
like the moves, he took the time to be injured and somehow improved on an already unbelievable handle.
Yeah.
Something about that family, though, does not hold up very well physically. Maybe it's because they've spent many of their formative years playing in second-rate basketball shoes made in God knows where. You know, that shoe brand did not go very well.
I had season tickets that year.
I
had courtside season tickets that year to UCLA when Lonzo was a freshman at UCLA, and his dad LeVar and all of his cousins and stuff sat right behind me, and it was
a circus.
Was that a circus?
Yeah, but man, was he amazing. If this was Lonzo, I mean, obviously since it's been 7 years now, I'd be totally out.
Yeah,
but LaMelo is clearly the best ball.
By far.
Sorry, LiAngelo.
Sorry, LeVar.
Sorry, LeVar. But if we were talking about decision-making and him as a person, I'd be like, no. The guy reportedly has a new outfit to match every one of his cars, which are all strikingly colored.
Yeah.
So this is not financial advice for him, because he clearly won't listen. Yeah. But for us, and so go to your own advisor, I think he's a really, really good player.
Yeah,
he's spectacular. I do worry about injuries for him, and I do worry about enough wins, because I don't think he... This is a tough statement. I don't think he really cares about winning so much. Like, for a kid that grew up in Chino Hills and, like, did the whole going to Lithuania, like, everything was just sort of figured out for him.
Yeah.
Before getting to the NBA.
Right.
And now he's doing his thing. And the moves... Here's the other thing. We want to talk about injuries? The moves he's pulling off and the stuff he's trying to do around the basket, he could fall the wrong way. Like, I saw him pull off this sick up and under Dr. J type of attempted layup, and he landed hard.
Yeah.
And for a guy with already some reconstructed joints, that could be tough to deal with. Yeah. But I think he's, from a pure basketball standpoint, I think he's truly spectacular.
No, he is spectacular. But are you buying it?
I can't. I also have a very big anti-ball bias. It is what it is. You know?
So neither of us are buying LaMelo Ball because he has been in the offseason a very hot commodity. People sending a lot of money in LaMelo Ball card in the LaMelo Ball card direction. Yeah. We are not. But let's wind it down for this week's episode of the Cardboard Critics Sports Card Podcast, presented by, no one, because
hopefully
we have no sponsors yet. Except for Celsius. Live fit. But thanks for joining us. As always, if you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. We love hearing from you all. So until next time, I'm Mr. Hollywood. That's Joe Nasty. We'll see you guys next week. Mr. Hollywood and Joe Nasty